Hello! Like a right idiot. Hello! Welcome. Today's video, we're fixing this Freelander 2. Failed its MOT for Claire up the pub. So I'm going to be looking at wheel bearings. It's got 4 failure points. Both front wheel bearings, excessive play. Rear wheel bearing, rough. Near side, rear. And shock absorber, serious leak, near side, rear. So that's the job we're going to do. Hello, Swallow. Did you see him just fly across the top of the car then? I'll do that slow-mo. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Don't half help. Boosts me as well as the channel. If you like. If you don't like. If you want to let me know why, email me. churchhouseclassics, it's all one word, @gmail.com. I've also got a website. It's at the top of the channel page, just underneath the nose of the stag. So click on that, takes you to my website. There's a contact me there as well. If you've got work like this that needs doing. Generally I work on classics, but this is a favour for Claire, because she's desperate to get her car MOT'd, and I thought I'd give her a hand. Oh, and I should of course add that if you fancy supporting the channel, or buy me a pint, then there's a link in the description below. Thanks to all of those that bought me pint in the past. Very much appreciated. Yes, it is leaking a bit, isn't it? Anyway, rear hub nut is the first thing to undo. Stupid things. They've got like a keyway which they lock in. I knew I had to replace the hub nut, and I knew exactly why as well. But the only way you can actually really get this thing undone is to brace it against the floor and use 2 foot, nearly 3 foot Rory breaker. It's the only way I can get this thing undone. Anyway, he's off now. So we're going to proceed through standard processes of caliper off, disc off, disconnect all the various components from the strut, tie bar, anti-roll bar, blah 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 blah, and then we'll have him apart. So let me get the boring stuff out of the way, and yeah. There's plenty of swearing going on in here. Sorry folks, let me get my camera sorted out here. Plenty of swearing going on here. This is the tie rod that connects onto the anti-roll bar. Have you ever seen one quite that bent? MOT didn't spot that. I'm just going to cut it off because I can't get the top nut undone anyway. Secondly, there's one bolt on this side here that goes through the lower link into. I cannot get the nut undone. It's got to a point, and now what's happening is the nut is slipping on the thread, so I suspect it's fucked. So it's just going to get cut off. I'll have to replace the bolt. But other than that, no, it's been an absolute bastard of a job, this one. Handbrake's a swine of a job because the handbrake cable is kept in there by 3 little clips which are obscured. You can't get the bottom shoe off the handbrake because the pin is behind the back plate, which is inaccessible on the other side. It's on a blind side. Yeah, we're having a lovely time. Right, sensor for the ABS, which should just lift up. But of course, as with everything else on this car, no, it ain't going to lift up. There's no way is it going to lift up. I've got it moving. Everything is just... I mean, what's frustrating about it all is that I do a 1971 Range Rover, not one siege bolt on it. This thing, every single bolt so far has been a pain in one way or another. Still not got to the point where I can see if the drive shaft's going to come off here or not. I need to undo the clamp bolt on the top here. Let's get the clamp bolt undone. That can go up there. Clamp bolt, and then I'll be able to drop the strut out of the upright. And it's the strut that I actually wanted to do on this. Fucking arsehole of a job. Come on, get in there, you fucker. It's just been every single little job on this. So I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee in a minute. Because see, like that, every single fucking job. So then what I do is I get Mr. Breaker, Rory, tighten first. Yeah, moved. Just thinking about moving. It's just tight. Shorten this a bit because I don't want to hit the wheel arch. Right, probably find the just the impact to get on it now. On the on this bottom arm down here, I had a 1/2 inch drive socket bar on the nut and a impact wrench on the bolt. I'll show you what it does in a second. Let's just get this one out. Nothing warm. Look at the fucking state of it. On the inside, on the nut, it's 21, and it's right behind the hub here. And I'll put Rory on it. Now I need Rory on this end. It'll have to be the breaker bar. It's only 1 foot long, but it's braced against the floor. If I can get it in the drive. Come on, in you go. There we go, it's in. Right. Okay, so we can see the bolts moving. Now, if I now try and, so the breaker bar's based against the floor. That's all it does. And it's not going anywhere. I can't tighten it and I can't loosen it. So I think that's fucked. Sweating like a pig. Right, where are we? Now, going from the top, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Wanker. I can teach it, wouldn't it? Right. You don't want the drive shaft at its maximum extension. So let's take that out of there because it's guaranteed to piss me off. If I do that with it, that'll work. And then that goes through there. We've not even got to the point where we're pushing out the bearing yet. Not even got to that point, so that, you know, the difficult bit is still to come. Would you have fucking believed it? Came in that, you're braver than I thought. The drive shaft shifting. That's good news. Strut next. So I really want to get the whole drive shaft out, don't I? Let's put old nuts on top. Fucking thing. What an absolute wanker of a job. It's almost out. big socket. This hub nut, by the way, if you haven't got a socket, 32mm, you'll need one. Right, he's off. He's off. Drive shot again, that's all rusted on there. Let's put him over there. Right, what I need to do now, I think, can I get to the back of this thing? No, I can't. Just give me a case, I think, now of undoing the nuts at the top of the strut tower here. Working inside the car. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Actually ended up being quite easy in the end. I just got medieval with it. There's one clip that's pulled off there. Take this bottom piece off. Take the bottom piece off here. And then just working from the bottom, pulled it around. It goes right the way over there though. And these are the 3 nuts I need to undo. Because they're inside, I'm rather hoping they're not going to be fucking seized up. I think I might need my father's help with this, because I need to hold the strut while he undoes them. Because otherwise it's all going to hit the floor. Donk, and I don't really want that, because it's going to end up bending things. And the whole strut can then come out, and I can work on the bench. How about that? Well, it was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. So basically, by undoing 2 of the bolts up here, hanging through the back door, holding the strut with one hand, I was able to undo the 3rd nut and lower it to the ground. Right. Just got to get this bush out now. I mean, look at that. That is as dry as a witch's tit there. CV joint appears to be okay though. I suppose because these are CV joints, you don't want to let them hang at their absolute extreme because the balls are going to pop out, so to speak. Right, and this is the problem I was faced with, look. Shit. 13-year-old Land Rover. That's what happens. Stupid tools you need for modern cars, eh? And these are only a couple of quid, so they won't be the end of the world. I'll probably need them again in approximately, well, after I've done the other side, of course, in approximately 10 years, I reckon. Right. One of these should be a nice snug fit. That one. That one's as loose as a dick in a bucket. Oh, half-inch drive already. Let's get these. Ah. Let's get this. Now, is it going to work? Does it work? Tell you what, it fucking does. And now, should be able to knock that. One strut. Now, I am going to need to undo these 2 brackets now. But now it's on the ground, I can see what's going on. I'm not worried about cutting the link bar off because the whole thing is going to end up being replaced with a new strut. You don't replace inserts on things these days, no, you replace the whole bloody thing. Genuine parts. Right, now what we're going to need to do next is really get this spring off here, which is going to need compressing. Let's get these bits off first of all before they get damaged. Where's my little Torxy jobby? Because I've been hurling things around, you see. Which doesn't help. That's why you need to go and get a coffee sometimes. Get yourself a bloody coffee, stop hurling things around. Make yourself feel a bit better about shit. Not having a shit, just shit. Bolts undone. There's one. Silica gel. Do not eat. For some reason. What we haven't got on this new strut is this bit here. This insulator. I wonder what that is. I'm going to find out in a minute. So those two. Now, Land Rover original part on here. Do not open. Right. Doesn't mean do not open the tube is what it means. Now somewhere around here I've got my new spring compressors, because my old spring compressors are at home, which was somewhat of a fucking irritant, but shit happens. That can go there. More or less got this side more or less back together again now. I need to do parking brake, which is going to be a faff, I know. I'm going to leave the disc off the time being, because I'm not convinced yet that the parking brake wasn't the root cause of the issue. Claire has told me that the parking brake is an absolute pain in the arse on this car, and it doesn't always work. ABS sensor needs to go in. Just give me a quick wipe over. Seems to be okay. That can go in. Handbrake cable is there, ready for its bits and bobs. Hub nut, weird one this one, because I've got two sets of instructions. One says tighten to 270 Newton meters, and the other one says tighten to 330 Newton meters plus 30%. So I'm going to research that. They were mighty tight, and also the staking as well. You can see where I've knocked that stake out. This nut is on there just to stop the drive shaft pulling back out again, although it won't now that I've tightened all of the link bars and everything up. And then when it comes to the other side, we're going to have to do the bearing on the other side, because I might have mentioned it already in this video. This bearing has the very, very, very slightest bit of pay. I can just feel. Can you? You hear that? I can only just feel it, but I can hear it. So the bearing needs to come out. What I've done in the meantime is just hung the strut back up in there. Oh yes, nice new strut. I'm going to work on putting wobbly hub time. Bastards. Right, I need to get the bearing out, but I need to support the hub across here or on that flange up there for now. I'll then drop this through the bottom for now. Enough for now already, Richard. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm kind of assuming it's not going to need horrific amounts of torque, in which case if I kind of balance it on these two plates and get those two plates to sit roughly where these bolts are, they're not going to damage this this back plate for the handbrake. I can't get the back plate for the handbrake off, and if I could, even if I could undo these bolts, I can't do anything about it because the hub's in the way. Alright, you see where I'm going with this. And we'll see what happens. But I've got a feeling that it's not going to need an awful lot of pressure to push this hub out. So let's give it a go. Okay, now position hub. Oh, fuck it. Hub presses to. How are we going to do this? I'll tell you what we could do, is we could go a bit fucking berserk, couldn't we? Do it like that. Will that work? That might work. Could be worth a go. Right, now. Trouble is I can't get it now anywhere near those bolts. That's a faff. How else can I do this? got to be a way I could do this. Basically the problem I've got is the gap in between my press here is narrower than the hub. I don't know why these fucking birds are going berserk at me. I've been out of their way all day long, honestly. We can give it a go. I mean, at the moment I'm kind of at a loss really about what else I can do in order to get this out. So let's just try. Let's put that on there. Bit of a spacer, otherwise I'll be pumping forever. Hello, bastard. That's already fucking shifted. Why is it shifted? No, that's not going to work, that, Richard. I'll tell you why it's not going to work. It's because I'm pushing against nothing on this side. How else can I get this hub apart? I think of all the hair-brained ideas I've had, this one might actually work. So I've got the things I can splay the end out here, and then position that, which does go in, and clamp it. Can't clamp it tight, I can push it up tight. It's as tight as it's going to go. Get it roughly in the middle. I don't think I can, might be able to get these on there. Yes, I can. Let's put those on, because these will allow me to support right up the edges of the hub under the bolts. It might work. Right, so I think this is going to work. What we need to do now is to find a drift to push the drive shaft through the bearing. It's going to be a socket, I'm afraid. It always is a socket. My poor impact socket set is just constant. It's all I ever use to tear these things apart. Ah, that's that one. That'll do it. That's a 1 1/8. So I'll put the socket on the end, and to save damaging the face of the socket, I'll put one of these spacers on the top of it, and then let's give that a push. Right, let's get you lined up. Lined up nicely, come on. There we go. There goes. One hub, no tons. That fucking works. One hub. Looks like it's left half the bearing on it though. But we'll get that off. That's not really a problem. It did suggest in the manual that you will leave half the bearing on the hub when you try and extract it. So you're probably going to find a load of ball bearings will come out in a minute. Right, I did say I was going to have a beer when that happened. Oh, fucking thing. Right. Now, having done that, I think the next thing we need to, there's a circlip on the other side of this, I'm led to believe. And then, behind the circlip, with the bearing. Right, just turn you around so you can see what's going on here. Right, so here's the bearing race, or the inner part of the bearing race. Somewhere in here is a circlip. Oh, it's coming out. He's thinking about it anyway. Come on. Trouble, it's been in here for an awfully long time, I fear. Oh, you fucker. Come on. Come on, not everything has to be fucking difficult on this job. We can actually have one easy job, can't we? We're allowed one easy job. Removing a circlip should be an easy job. The problem I've got is that this thing is looking pretty rusted in there. I want to get it so if it starts to rotate, then I know I'm onto a winner. Just actually, oh, it's started to go. It's started to go. It's started to go. Oh yes. There's a big chunk of it now, almost all the way round. And even now, you see, it's seized in there. I'll push the bearing out next. Pushing the bearing back in, I think it's going to be relatively straightforwards. Famous last fucking words. I mean, even now I can't get the fucking circlip out. There we go, he's out. One circlip. He's out. Right, now, I should be able to push this bearing out now. I'm rather hoping. Circlip's out. So back over to me. Cow shit all over my face. Back onto the press. Mount it in nice and tight. Now we'll want something a bit bigger in there, and probably that, just as a spacer. This should now push the bearing out, I'm rather hoping. The swallows will be shrieking with joy. It's going. God knows I'm going to push the new one in. God knows. But it's out. It's out. Hallelujah. Back over to the bench. Right, okay. Bent this back plate just a tiny bit. I can soon straighten that up. It's not a problem. That's the bearing. It shows you the ABS ring side of it, because there's an ABS side and a non-ABS side. So it's important that when it goes back, you put it in the right way around. Yes. So that's the ABS side with the black ring on it. It's a magnetic ring, and that's the hub side. ABS side, hub side. Right, I'm not going to open that up just yet because I've got no idea what the time is. It's going to be 6:30 at least, nearly 7 o'clock. I've been on this job since 10:30 this morning. Right, let's put the piece of anchor line under there. Now that should start to come on, you bastard. I think it is actually lifting it off. Doing something. I think it's actually denting the It is. This might be a tomorrow job. I might have had enough. This might need a bit of heat. So I expect this bearing seat has stuck on here. It's this bit here I'm trying to get off. I might have had enough. Might be excessive amounts of heat applying to it before. But last resort is I just go through it with a Dremel. But I'm a bit worried about putting much more force than that on it, because that is going to ultimately just go ding like that. Bastard thing. Cocksucker. Right, let's go even now. No, I should have pulled that off now. You hear it? It's like a ship sinking. Oh, of course it's not going to go any higher because it's up to the angle bar now. So what I'm going to do now is put a socket on it. It's the same size, and then the angle bar over the top of the socket. So which one were we using before? I can't remember which one we were using now. That fits beautifully. Okay. Socket to him. Got a socket around here somewhere, but that'll do it. Fucking angle bar's not going to work. Back to the piece of steel. Oh, there's a nice big bit of steel. Look at that. That'll do it. It's that old never chuck anything away thing that I do. Crotty old bit of steel. I mean, it's no use to man nor beast. Except I keep it. And there we are. It's off. Quite a big old nut there. Anyway, good news is that the cheapo Amazon bearing remover works. I think that's a result. Right, I'm not going to press this lot on until tomorrow because I've genuinely had enough. And I shall press this out first thing tomorrow morning. Then I've got to adjust the handbrake hubs, finish off the back end of the car, and then start on the front. It's been quite a sweary job, this one, I'll be honest. I've had easier jobs in my time. Right, time to clear up. Count for all the tools. You know what, I'm going to sit down and have a beer with the guests. But that's off. That is good news.